Hey guys, happy Wednesday. I'm going to take you guys through how I use my containers, which I have them, like a ton of them, right in a drawer in my kitchen. But I use these containers constantly, and I use them as my measuring cups when I'm getting ready to get a meal together. Of course, I always like to plan ahead and make sure that I kind of have them all ready to go, my meals all planned out ahead of time. But if I'm just kind of flying on the seat of my pants here and I need to get a meal together, I literally, I'll show this to you guys. This is my drawer. So like I have my measuring cups here, but I use my actual 21-day fix containers to portion everything out. Okay, so I'm gonna take you through how I make my oatmeal bowl, and believe it or not, even though I could probably eyeball a lot of things and eyeball because I've made this meal constantly, I still use my containers because a lot of times our eyes can lie to us when we're hungry or when we're not as hungry. And so I have to remind myself, always use your containers, Ariel, and it's not that big of a deal. So what I usually do is I just get a bowl. I've kind of already started making it because I like to let it sit to soak, which I'll explain in a second. But I get a bowl ready. I take my rolled oats. You can do steel cut oats if you want. I like the volume aspect of rolled oats. I use my yellow container and I scoop out one yellow container of rolled oats. I drop that in my bowl. I add a cup of water and I microwave it for 2 minutes. Then when the rolled oats are cooked, I add a half a cup of water, and then I take my chia seeds and in my orange container, which can be used for seeds, some like trail mix and chopped nuts and stuff like that. And then basically most of the time people use this for salad dressings. I'm not a huge salad dressing person unless it's like blue cheese. So I like to, or Caesar, I like to use this mostly for my chia seeds. So I take chia seeds that I get from Costco, I scoop out an orange container of it, and I drop that in my rolled oats that has the extra half a cup of water. Now I do that because chia seeds, which they add a crunch, and a lot of times people will like eating them without being soaked. I personally think it adds so much volume, fiber, protein when you're soaking them up, and it's filling up your stomach a lot more. Plus people can get into some issues with them sort of expanding within their stomachs if they're not consumed after they've sort of been soaked up some water. So that's why I like to cook my rolled oats first, add in a little bit of extra water, and then add my chia seeds. And then I let this sort of like solidify and soak for 10 minutes. So I usually get something done or clean up my kitchen while I'm doing this, but this is kind of what it's doing right now. It's sort of getting this gelatin type of consistency, and I get this all ready to go. So while this is all sitting, I take my bag of frozen berries. You guys, some people have this negative connotation when it comes to frozen fruits and vegetables. It is probably one of the best things that you can do if you cannot buy fresh, or if you find yourself buying fresh fruits and vegetables and they go bad because you don't eat them in enough time. Buy frozen. There's nothing wrong. They are They are taken and frozen at their like prime, so they taste delicious, and it's a great way of kind of saving some extra money and not wasting your money. So again, from Costco, I take my frozen berries and I use my purple container and I scoop out 1 container worth of fruit, and then I add that to my yogurt bowl. Now, because I've kind of let my chia seeds soak in here and it's been warmed and cooked from cooking the rolled oats, the frozen berries start defrosting a little bit. So in an ideal world, I would probably overnight in the fridge, kind of like let them defrost overnight in the fridge, but apparently I'm just too lazy to do that. So I'll probably warm this up in the microwave again just to kind of make sure everything's the same temperature, because I love eating my food warm or hot. So you can see that now I've added the berries, and it's starting to defrost a little bit and become a much prettier color than the brown and the black from the chia seeds. So once the fruit and the berries, which I'll use fresh in the summertime, it's just not that ideal right now, I will make sure that I have all of this warmed up, and then I take my almond butter that I make from home, which I literally just take a baking sheet, put a layer of raw almonds, again, that I get from Costco. I bake it at 350 for 10 minutes. Just, you kind of want the almonds to warm up and to release their oils. I put them all, the warmed almonds, in a food processor and let it just run for like 10 minutes until it becomes a peanut butter, like a nut butter consistency, like easy peasy. And then I put it in a jar and it lasts for a couple of weeks, if it will last for a couple of weeks. So I like to use all of my teaspoons mostly for my almond butter. So I'll take out my tablespoon, and so that's 3 of my teaspoons that I get in my plan, and I add that on top of my bowl, and then I get ready to eat it. So you guys can see, like, I use my yellow container, I use my purple container, I use my orange container, and I use my 3 of my teaspoons. So I use a ton of my containers, and it's so incredibly filling for me, and high volume, and it lasts. A lot of times if I'm a little bit hungrier, which I am this morning from doing booty day today and a little obsessed, I'll probably go get like a hard-boiled egg and eat that with this as well, just to kind of add a little extra protein and a little extra fat to kind of sustain me for a little bit longer. But that's what I do, and I hope that this is helpful for you guys. I kind of want to take you guys through sort of my daily life, and this video is way too long. So let me know if you have any questions. I'll do in a couple of days or next week, maybe take you through a dinner or a lunch and how I plan this. But